Hello, Deborah with Divine Ion here, and I wanted to share a few little tips with us moving forward with these new energies, because a lot of us are feeling there's been lots of surges of new, um, mm, and depending on where you're sensitive, you're going to be feeling it different. So new hits of intuition, new insights, new things coming in, being brought into our field that we weren't aware of before, but now we're aware of them because it's as we're going up that spiral in our consciousness, the overlay of the old, you can call it a wheel, but it shifts, and it's we're having many micro shifts within our own consciousness, but the bigger collective consensus takes a lot more time. But and I'll give you an example what that would be like is, so let's say we look at the Knights of the Round Table, the Avalon consciousness. There was patterns within there that were kind of like, I don't want to say hard and fast rules. They were like guidelines, in the consciousness, kind of like guide rails that our higher aspect put in place for humans to work within. It's kind of like that level of the game we were at that time. So the archetypes of the Knights of the Round Table were there, and then we shifted, we learned, we got through that, and then we got the next level. And I'm not sure which ones come first, but maybe it was the zodiac ones, and then we kind of learned and shifted, and now and of course before that we probably even had the disciples and there's been a whole bunch of the mythology and anytime you've got archetypal observations. These are, again, discs or circles in the consciousness of how they're being understood and unpacked for the consciousness at that time. So, the archetypes were layered on top of the astrology. And then what are we working with right now? Probably archetypes still, but the new, I'm going to say the new ways of unpacking consciousness, we're doing it where we're blending the scientific theories and the spiritual things and all the different branches in between, because that's all everything is. Language is, as I've talked about this in a lot of other videos, but a lot of different branches of understanding. And so as we keep circling up the spiral, the patterns shift. They're kind of echoes of an older one, but they're shifting. They're being cranked a little bit, right? It's kind of like, so you've got maybe an archetype that's kind of close to this sign of the zodiac, but maybe not quite. But again, it's being cranked a bit, right? So we're spiraling up, and so the new understandings are spiraling as well. Now that's on the bigger themes, the records that are playing, that sort of thing. But when you understand that all the records are within us, that's our DNA, our the Akashic records, our library, right? Every lifetime, every conscious evolution that humanity's ever had is recorded, and so it's also part of those spirals. It's all there, and even though we may be playing at a level we've not ever been before, right? In that I'm going to say the core of it all, it's like an auger, right? The divine truth never changed, right? So everything else changed around it, but that essence of you, that spark of the divine within you, has access to all of it. And so we don't have to get fixed on any particular disc, right? Any particular structure, pattern, theory, dogma, whatever it is, whether it's this religion or this or science or whatever. Science will call that I think they call it the morphogenic field or morphogenic resonance. But it's basically it's the Akashic field. It's that grid where we're all connected, that the fabric of reality, right? That sort of thing. Different. I think the indigenous might have called it the dream time, and the Sufis had a name for it. All the different spiritual systems had different names for it, that higher etheric, multidimensional space, right? That's all it is. It's just more dimensions. It's just when a person has expanded their field, and that's the thing, is if a person has never done any spiritual work and gives all the evidence to the outer world and says, oh, I'll believe it when I see it, they're never going to pull in the evidence of their multidimensionality. They can't validate any of those things because they've already created the program as a law within them, within themselves, right? Because you are the authority, author at E equals energy, of your own reality. So your sphere of influence, it's a sphere within the bigger sphere, and it's going to be overlapping. So so let's say we've got this center core and these spirals are doing this, right? And let's say you are, you're totally evidence based and you are a bit of a control freak, or and you are very career driven, right? I'm just going to do this sort of I don't necessarily know where that sphere will fit in the spirals, but let's say it's over here. So we've got a few different spirals overlapping that sphere, right? But maybe they didn't expand, they didn't have that many lifetimes, or they've contracted their energy so that really they're showing up in maybe the archetype of and I don't even know what the career driven archetype would be, but we know there'll be an archetype that kind of suits that, and there's an astrological kind of map there, and so they're not in their core, they're playing in the distortion. So they're over they're outside of their authentic self, because is your authentic self is pure, and it actually is all of it, right? Your authentic self, when you're in that middle, there's no this is good and this is bad. Whereas when you are playing small and contracted, your personality puts you in a place that's known and it's safe, right? And so let's say that person had shame when they were a kid because somebody else was much better at them at a certain thing, or they had friends come over, maybe they were poor and somebody said a comment that embarrassed them about how they lived poorly or something. So there's shame that pushed that person into this state of, I need to succeed, I need to do this because it's safer there, right? So again, these are just examples. There's many of them. Every person is nuanced. You're sum of your parts. So all the things that shaped you, that you agreed to, put you in a state within those spirals, right? And there's a dimensional component there. It's like, because you're not in your heart necessarily. Well, you can get into your heart there. And when you do, you're going to make that slide over and you're going to feel a bit more spacious, but then you're going to go to work the next day and maybe you hate your boss or something, you slide back into these old patterns. So you're back into this contracted state. So the bandwidth that was way bigger over here in that beautiful center state isn't your default. So that's what we're trying to do every time we do a spiritual practice. It's to get out of what we've created and what we've observed, what we've negotiated as our truths. And that's the thing, is when you decide something's real or some person is bad out in the world, or this food is bad, this chemical is bad, this tower is bad, this whatever industry, whatever it is we've agreed to as bad, it's active and playing and showing up in your world, and it's brought receipts. You've agreed to it, and you've got how many decades that you've agreed to it, and it's showing you every day the receipts. And the receipts eventually show up in your physicality, they show up in your relationships, they show up in different ways, right? But what they are is the outpicturing evidence of an agreed to. Now, it's not your consciousness didn't agree to them, your unconscious, right? And that's where your ego got you there out of safety, because it had some experiences where it felt really poorly that never got resolved. The loops never got closed. We never got to go, I see you. Oh, I know you serve me. Okay. and I'm going to send you love. Thank the person or the situation or whatever it is, and you get back, you keep coming back to your core, your center, so that every time you stepped out, you stepped out, you stepped out. So you're playing in distortions. So why that's really important right now in the world is what we're seeing isn't the world as it really is. And that's really, really, really key right now, because we've got AI doing all sorts of funky things. And we know that not everybody's getting the same story, the same outpicturing, the same, even what's being conjured up within their body around these things. One person is happy about something, another person feels really sick to their stomach over it. So it's not, there is no right way and a wrong way. It's really you just having to see the creation, you acknowledging that vibrationally you were in accord with it, right? That's the frequency, the note, the distortion of you, what you felt into along the way, that you kept, oh, it's better if I do this, or they don't notice me if I do this, or if I, oh, don't stand out over here, or it's safer if I'm the loudest one in the room because they'll all listen to me and I can control that environment. Whatever it is that your ego was really comfortable doing, right? And controlling is very comfortable, but not everybody has the confidence to be there. So it might be you stay home and you're very antisocial, right? It might be there's just a whole bunch of coping mechanisms, right? So that's the thing, and don't judge yourself for them, right? Because you're in a perfect place right now to heal every step along the way that got you there. And that's the beautiful thing. So when I speak in metaphor, and people will go, because I what I like to do is I lump a lot of stories and timelines into themes, and I call them the head of the snakes, right? So I consolidate them, and power over other structures, we've got big themes there, right? But it helps heal however many lifetimes where you played into that distortion over here, right? If we can heal it and bring it back, we've healed the theme, and we've put the healing of that theme in the field. So anybody else who's ever stepped into those sort of distortions, right, along the way, and all your past lives, future lives, outside time and space, all your soul fragments, all your extensions, your soul family, your anybody who really who's expanded enough and who's asked for help, that maybe they're going to be able to tune into it from there, because what you were holding there is a configuration. It's a pattern. It's a signature in the field, that it is its own song. And so when enough people sing similar songs, they start calling in similar stories, which is why there's a lot of people have agreed on to certain stories. And just because you've got millions of people thinking the way you do, it doesn't mean you're right. It means that there's been a really loud song played over here and you've all agreed to it, because there's a lot of egos that have been wounded in that way. So now what we can do is, okay, we want to get back into our 0 point, heal the theme. Don't get caught up in the story. Those are too nuanced, right? And you're never going to heal everyone else's story that's contributing. It's like everybody throwing garbage into, this one place, and you think you're going to take your garbage out of it, and the garbage will be gone. That's not for you to do. That's for them to do, right? But what you can do, you can stand back and like I say, go to your center point. That's the heart, the bandwidth there. Call in all of your higher family of light, star family, higher consciousness, God, anybody, biblical character, any goddess, or something's being still held here. It's any conscious being that you believe in, whether it's Buddha, right? Whoever it is that you believe could help you in that moment. Or just have faith and trust in that future version of yourself. There's a version of you that's healed all these things, right? Right? This is the thing is, if you can think it, it's there. So I call in that future version of Deborah that already knows what she needed to know in this lifetime, right? So I call her in. And so I actually sit there in that energy and I see the theme, whatever it is I contributed to that story, my garbage that added to that flavor over here, that distortion. And I call it in as a theme. And then I send all the energy of that healing down into Gaia to be recorded and to be made accessible by anybody else who's ready. But it's not for me to decide who or their timing. For all I know, they're just aspects of me anyway. And I mean, they are from the highest levels, right? We know that we're all connected in that. We call it universal mind, whatever that is. Not everyone is going to be able to broadcast a strong enough healing signal to get that expanded healing, but some of us can. Some of us can heal broader themes, and clear a lot of timelines, right? And so because we've done it on the micro level so many times, and we've sat and expanded our field and our light bodies, merged into all of our different guides and angels, expanded, and now that's nothing. That's a piece of cake. That's just, oh, that's what I'm working on in today's meditation, right? That story came up. Okay. So that's where people like Rumi and Socrates and Plato and a lot of the wisdom that seemed too vague, and a lot of channeling feels like that. It's vague. It's not nuanced enough. Our ego wants the nuanced story. It wants to be told what to do around these things, right? Whereas the expanded state sees the theme and speaks about the theme and heals the theme, right? Because you can't do it from within the story, right? You have to. It's kind of like this. It can't lift itself. It's like you're stuck in the well and you need to get out, right? You need help, right? So, okay, in this state, in my heart, that's where all the help is, right? So that's your expanded state. That's where you can call in whatever you need to heal that story, to bring yourself, to bring it back to 0 point within you. Ooh, something's coming back in. Okay, whatever it is we were speaking about there, it's allow this energy. Your heart might be beating a little bit. Just feel into that, because we created the pathway for you to be here. That conversation, this is how I work. I'm an energy channel. Oh, we're getting a download now. I'm an energy channel. So my conversations are activating in the field, right? And then this is how they come through me. And that goddess version of Deborah that I know exists. And I merge with her. I connect to her. I call her in to work through me and with me. So I can't tell you, like, from my personality, everything that Deborah is doing in this moment. But I know it's beautiful, and I know it's good, and I know it's for our highest good, right? So that's what my practices are about, is teaching you to be able to get into this sort of state where you can keep finding your way back into your center, right? So that everything that spins around you does not throw you off your course. It's kind of like everything is downstream here rather than upstream. It's, trimming your sails to, leaning in when, the seas get rough, right? So it's a beautiful 0 point of neutrality when everyone else is getting caught up in the distortion, right? So it allows you to keep finding love and compassion and, and I even want to say forgiveness, but the problem with forgiveness is you don't need forgiving when you're in your expanded, your Christed state, right? Forgiveness is when you're on a timeline where you know that it's not right, it doesn't feel right. So there's no forgiveness needed when you're in your expanded state. So let's get to this space, and then we don't need to fix anything. We don't need to forgive anything. We don't even need to heal from here. We just need to know that in this state, there's nothing wrong, right? Accept it all as it is in this now moment, and just allow the frequency of that to unfold in its own divine timing. So coming it all back into 0 point. I hope this resonates for you guys. And sending you so much love. Okay, bye-bye now.